very often can be within that box, connect with somebody, and then go out of that box and be ourselves and just enjoy life. And that's when people get freaked out because we understand people so well, and at the same time, it feels like we don't have to play by the same rules as they do. And this catches people by surprise. Remember the examples I gave you in the beginning. The ESTP, yes, they have physical force. They can use it maybe in achieving their goals, into going towards what they want, but a lot of those things are not really usable in our day-to-day life. It is something that they will use in sports. It is something that will give them drive to make something happen. It's not something that they could or would want to use in everyday interactions. ENFJs, on the other hand, and I like to use those examples because we all have the same functions, just in a different order. The ENFJ, on the other hand, they are within that box. They have so much power because they can entice people to listen to them, to follow them, to do what they want, because they are there to continuously create when everybody else wants also a moment to relax. That's their strength. Different than the ESTP, what they're doing is obvious to every single person. Everybody sees it and they just don't care because that's their superpower. But we surprise people when they least expect it. So what we can do is sort of accept it in society because we don't even know that we make people uncomfortable. It's actually just part of who we are. It is legal. We're not hurting anybody. It's just us being ourselves. And at the same time, it's invisible to every single person who doesn't get into contact with us at that particular moment. We're not somebody that can be observed from the outside for like days and then we decide how we're going to act. And ENFJ is different, for example. You see what's going on, you analyze that, you understand that, you can even study that as like an interesting concept to learn. But we come from a place where nobody expected it. We understand people so deeply, we understand what's going on, we observe them, and then once we say, okay, I got you all figured out, I know how you work within that box, I'm going to step out of the box and show you, oh, okay, I can see this from a big picture, I understand your weaknesses, I understand your biggest fears. I understand what you're running from. I understand what's subconsciously holding you back. And that's something that everybody's afraid of. Our mind wants to protect us. It creates stories in order to protect us. That's how it is for every single person, if you're an INFJ or not. And once somebody touches that, once somebody sees that, and they mirror that back to you, it's an incredibly uncomfortable feeling that people haven't experienced yet. Remember, there aren't that many INFJs around. So chances are that person has never met somebody who's made them feel this way and they don't know how to handle it. All my life, I've encountered people who've made me feel I did something wrong, that I made them uncomfortable, that there's something wrong with the way I am. And I always interpret it as they are being intimidated by me because frankly, it feels better than to say, oh, okay, there's just something wrong with me. But of course, it's because people are intimidated. They wouldn't react so strongly towards you if they didn't. Most of the time, if people don't care about you, they just forget about you. They go about their own life, they do their own thing, and it doesn't really matter. People react this way because they are intimidated, because you have a power over them that they didn't know was possible for somebody else to have. It's a loss of control, and it's a very natural reaction. But once we understand that this is going on, we can change the narrative. We can come to a place where we say, I'm not going to be ashamed of who I am just because it makes people uncomfortable. Yes, me being on this earth triggers something in them because they see what they're missing. They see what kind of rules they play by that they shouldn't play by. But look at it from that perspective. Look at all the people that you get to inspire. Yes, there are going to be some people for whom this is too much, and let them make that decision for them. That's their prerogative. It's not on you to protect people from the truth, because the price that you're paying in order to protect them from that is that you cannot be yourself. And it can never be right for you to hold yourself back when your intention isn't to hurt anybody. You're not there to put any kind of psychological pressure on somebody else. You're just being yourself. And that sheer presence makes people aware. That's all it is. It just makes people aware of who they are on a deeper level. And if there's something they haven't worked through guess what? It's going to get triggered. That's nothing to be ashamed of, and I want you to lean into it. The more often you do this, the less scared you will be of the consequences, because frankly, there aren't going to be that many consequences. The more you do this, you actually recognize that similarly, how I was with the ENFJ in my previous example, people know what you're about on a subconscious level much earlier on. So they can decide, do I want to get closer to that person, or is it too dangerous for me psychologically? You give people the chance, not like before when you have all this power within you, but nobody's aware of it. And once you hit, because you frankly just can't hold it in anymore, then people really freak out. So that's the way to go. Use it, live it out. It's your prerogative to be as bright, as big, and as exciting as you are with all your internal knowledge. Let it all out. Be yourself. Enjoy that process and just live that INFJ epic life.